sufficiency, you need to be looking at the inflationary trend and the cost of food in the country. As at June, the food inflation index is about 13.5%, and that's for food alone. And we're talking about general inflation at about 11%. So when you're telling me that we've achieved self-sufficiency, the other question I would also be talking about is why are we still having this problem with the importation of rice into the country if we are self-sufficient of food?
Yes.
I think, I mean, the government is looking at this. It's a right move, but you're literally what you're doing. You put the cart before the horse. You should actually ensure that we do have food sufficiency first before you start to put in measures in place. I would not exactly say we've actually achieved that. You look at the cost of food of rice, for example, in the market. It's actually said that local production costs more than the imported brands of food.
Thank you.
So all we'll be having is inflation going forward, but we'll wait and see how this policy will go. And the second thing I'd like to point out is where do we draw the line between the executives and the CBN? The CBN is meant to be autonomous.
Yes.
This does not send the right.
And that some of them were responsible for.
It is always amazing that once you leave government post, that's when you see the child serve. And he's pointing fingers at the politicians responsible for the banditry that we have. The security operatives in ensuring that this banditry and the criminal activity you have in the country comes. I mean, when we're talking about this, two things comes to mind. I'm thinking of the politicians in Lagos. In Lagos, I mean, we know that when elections take place, we know the roles that a lot of these men play in ensuring that certain party win Saraki, and also the Kwara bank robbery incidents. At the end of the day, what conclusion was the police able to achieve? The kingpin of that incident ended up dying on police custody. So we couldn't actually come to a conclusion if Saraki was associated with this gentleman. But the question I would want to point out in conclusion is all well and good if we're saying that the politicians are responsible for insecurity in the country, but are these politicians above the law? What exactly police force doing in ensuring that a lot of these people, rather than just making sensational headlines, we need to do a lot more.
Thank you. It's a very interesting read. I would recommend that read from the Premium Times. He also gives a few recommendations as to how the police can work more here. EEA Director General giving us warnings, particularly Nigerians, to be vigilant against Ebola. So the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has directed all airline operators, especially those operating regional international flights into the country, to exercise a high level of vigilance following the receipt of the Ebola virus disease. Now, Adedumade, it takes only one, as we saw in the case of the first entry into Nigeria. Now, what do you think about this?
Well, I appreciate the way Nigerians actually rallied around one another the last time, and how we ensure that we all had hand sanitizer with their hands quite often.
People make money, make profit.
And the prices just went up, So I would like to see more Nigerians embrace or continue to embrace that kind of hygiene, just so that one they protect. Now there are two cases, or now say three, that have been reported in other parts of Africa. One in Uganda, and I think two in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But what is also good to note is that there are experimental drugs that are actually helping them fight Ebola.
It's still in testing phase.
Yes, but they started to give the patients now, and apparently they say about 90% people who may be infected can come out cured. So I think that's great. I think more research should continue in that side. Then also this one in particularly. Heeded to by I think they should pay strict attention. I don't think we do that enough. I remember when I got off the plane in the US sometime, and they just came around with this insecticide, and they just flicked all of us in the plane, and I was like, what's going on here? So I just want to see us also take such precautions.
And I
Right,
also like
thank
to
you
say
very
that, I mean, it's really important. Really, one step in the right direction we should also take is the officers at airports, instead of being distracted by looking for financial gratification, should also focus on these kind of measures to ensure that we're safe.
All right, let's go on to this day newspaper. Accept responsibility for killing our personnel. Please tell Army from this day newspaper. Bala, please touch on this very quickly.
Yes, I mean the police is asking the Nigerian army to take responsibility, and the reason why they've said this is that on the 6th on the 9th of August, there was a statement that was released by the Nigerian army, and the statement did read that the army should take precautionary measures while going out on the street, not to wear their army uniforms and wear mufti, in order to prevent any reprisal attacks from the Nigerian police. And what they've also mentioned in this statement is that the reason why they've said this is because the Nigerian police force has been releasing inflammatory statements on Twitter and social media, which can cause a lot of backlash and allow the Nigerian police force to attack the Nigerian army. So
Don't you think it's just sincerity and, for the army to say, admit that, okay, we're wrong, this has happened, we're very sorry. Isn't that the only thing? What do you think could solve this problem?
This is exactly what the Nigerian police force is asking for. I mean, the Nigerian police force is asking for, rather than making such statements, you should make apologies for what has happened and the events that has happened, and investigations should be going on. And I'd like to also just mention that our president, the mandate that he came into power for was security. And when we find out that the military are attacking the police force, this does not send a good signal.
Thank you. We're out of time, so we can continue. We thank you, Bola Hall, for your analysis. And Mr. GQuest is his handle on Twitter. Adedumade is at Adedumade. Devo is at Devo Okore. Special thanks to everyone who sent messages on YouTube, WhatsApp, and Twitter.
We'll take this conversation further during Lagos, so please stay tuned. And we open the phone line for you to send in your comments or to give us them.
Next is Locker Room 981 for sports.
The headlines, the stories,